Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. The Canon G1X Mark III. It's rumored to be coming out soon. Rumored to be being announced soon. Actually, I think I just saw that on Canon Rumors. 24 megapixel APS-C fixed lens camera. And it got me thinking, I'm curious what the market is for this. Are these type of cameras, is there still a decent demand for them? I guess if Canon's putting one out, they must still think it's going to sell. Maybe they're testing to see if it's still going to sell. It's a very interesting camera. We have a 24 megapixel APS-C camera. That's a bit of a unique beast. It's fixed lens, 24 to 120. The older one, the Mark II, was an f2 to 3.9 variable aperture lens. Not a bad lens at all. f2 at the wide end for 24 mil, and by the time you're out to 120, which is quite a versatile range. I mean, the 24 to 120 is my favorite lens for full frame on the Nikons. I love that f4 VR. So on this camera, you've got 24 to 120, and then by 120, it's at basically f4. So it's quite a usable, versatile lens on it. Digix 7 is rumored to be coming out on it, and it should be, with an APS sensor, I think an interesting camera. I think one of the big questions for me is, will Canon put 4K on it? They haven't done this on any APS-C bodies to date that I'm aware of. I mean, the 80D doesn't have one, the 77 doesn't have one, none of the 70s, like nothing out there. Short of, I think right now in the Canon lineup is the 1DX Mark II, the 5D Mark IV, and the 6D. No, the 6D Mark II doesn't even have 4K. So we're very limited on 4K options. Canon may see fit to do this though, because they will probably see that this is their premium. It's kind of like their flagship camera in this category. So they may not see it as a threat to cannibalize sales of their video cameras or of their upper DSLRs. On the other hand, they may think 4K in any camera is an issue, because they haven't been so far given us anything in a smaller camera that does 4K. I think for this to be a success, it needs to be. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. Is this camera of interest to you? Is there still a market for this camera? What specs does this camera need to have for you to consider buying one? Are you interested in it as the rumored specs are? Is the 4K bit a deal killer? Because I don't think they've even mentioned whether or not they think it's going to have 4K. I'm just saying it needs to. So curious to see what you guys have to say. Let me know in the comments below. I'd be curious to see. I'm just really curious what the market is for these cameras. I haven't owned one in some time. I always enjoy testing these style of cameras, but I have never felt the desire to buy one. Now that said, I have thought about adding a Sony RX10 to the mix, mostly for video work. It's a very capable video camera. So, curious what you think about the G1X Mark III. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon here at artoftheimage.com.